Hey everyone, so this is the next part in the file operations to the Spring Boot series, right? So before proceeding, let me brief you what we have covered so far. So this is the GitHub page where I have put all the source code for the file operations with the Spring Boot. So you can go to this link and you will get all the source code here. You can clone it or download it, and you will get all the source code under this folder, right? And if you want to watch the previous videos, here is the link for all those. So I have covered four parts till now. First part of the video covers single file upload, then second part multiple file upload, and then third part covers the how to upload or download the files from and to the database. First two part covers the saving and retrieving the files from the file system, and part 4, these in these three parts, the microservice, this file operations that we were covering was complete. And this part 4, I covered about the integration test, how you can write that. This current video, I'm going to write a Java client service to call the file upload service, right? So this file service that I have written so far, I'm going to call that programmatically through another service, right? So let me brief you the thing that we are going to do. So the service that so far we have written, I'm naming it file microservice, right? And the service that I'm going to write in this video, I'm going to name it client service, right? Now this client service is going to call this file microservice, and it is going to respond to this client service, right? So the two use cases that I'm going to take, the first use case is going to be like this. So for example, you want to retrieve a particular file, transaction file that is with the file microservice that you already have uploaded into the system, right? So it is related to a user, related to some transaction or accounting detail. So you will give the name of the file, and as per the response that file microservice will give you is the file detail of that file, right? The content of that file, and it will store that file into the client service location in some folder, right? So because both of these are running on different in actual scenarios, they are both of them are running on the different machines. It can be a third party service as well. So you are just giving the name to this file, and this client service is going to return that file to your service, and this client service is going to store that locally, where you can use that in later stage to analyze that file. The second use case that I'm going to take care about, I have some few files here at the client service location, and I want to push that to this file microservice so that it can save it to some location, so that I can retrieve it at later in time, right? So these are the two endpoints. So first endpoint is going to be the get request, where I want to retrieve the name, and second one is going to be the post request, where I want to put the all the files that are there on a particular folder location, all the files to this one, right? So let's go ahead and see how we can do that. So to create the microservice, you have to come to this start.spring.io, and I'm taking the Gradle project as a build, Java as a language, and I have added this dependency here and generate it, and it will give you the project, right? So I already have done this part and opened the project in IntelliJ. So here it is. I have named it client service, right? And other than this, I have not changed anything till now. Go ahead, first create the controller, right? And controller, I need this controller to be REST controller, and I want to write two endpoints here, right? So here I'm just get and save file. I'll pass the file name, and it will retrieve it from the third party and save it. Endpoint name, I want to give it get mapping, get and save, right? So this is the path variable. This will be mapped with this file name, right? And here to call the third party, I need some template. REST template is there to communicate with the third party microservice. So I need the instance of that. To do that, REST template, create this one, and to auto it, and I have to create the instance of this one, So come here and inject that one. REST template builder is there, which is provided by the application context itself. So I can call it directly builder.build. So if it is nice to create the REST template instance from the REST template builder, where you can customize the things at any moment of time if you need, right? That is why I'm taking this one. File name, it is doing this one. So now to call the file REST template dot get for object. This is the string URI I have to pass it here. So name. So first write the string base URL, right? So base URL, what it is going to hold. This is basically going to hold the address of the microservice where it is running. So the other service that is running on the port 8081, right, and other endpoint name I will be defining here, right? So base URL plus, so if I show you the previous service that is there, file upload download, it is here. So I want to download this one, right? So this is the name that I want to give here. Download and plus file name that is there, right? And what is the return type that I need? So if you see here, it is returning you the response entity of resource, right? So it is giving you the exact file that you can download or do anything with that. So resource, this one, right? And assign it some value, resource. So this is a string, so I have to return something. So complete this one, return data retrieved properly, right? So if everything goes fine, user is going to get this message, data retrieved properly from this one, right? So this way I have got the response REST template dot get for object. When I call this one download file name resource, I have got the resource under this variable name. Now I have to store it at some location here on this current project, right? So just let me go ahead and create a directory, files dot create directories. So here I am just creating temp location. Create directory, it is throwing some exception, so add it to the method signature. What it is, this line is going to create a temp directory. Now I want to copy content of this resource to this directory. How we can do that? So files dot copy path, I have to give where I want to copy it. Paths dot get, so actually I can reuse this one, right? So to use that, path plus I have to give the name of the file by which I want to save it, right? So just keep the file name that is there, give the name here. So this is the separator and this is the file name that is here, right? So file dot copy, it is the source. So the first argument will be here, this resource dot get input stream, and this is the source and this is the target. So this is what you want to copy and this is where you want to copy it, right? And the third thing that you want, the copy option, right? Standard copy replace. if there is any existing file, replace that one, right? So it is going to, okay, cannot resolve method, this one, so there is some problem. Yeah, it is I have not done it correctly. So path dot get, and this should be like this one, right? This, so this is the string form. I have to get the path by doing this one, right? So now it is correct. Now it is copying the file that you're passing here into this location, right? Temp and this directory here, right? Now one more thing is here. So path dot get, it is exactly getting the path you, but you have to give it the, you have to take the absolute path, define the absolute path. So you give the name of this temp, and it is going to convert that to absolute path to the current directory where your project is running, and then normalize that one, right? And after normalizing, you create the directory, it will create the directory, and after that you can copy that one into this file, replacing the existing one. Copy option you can give it. So that's it, we are done here. So now I can pass the file name, it will retrieve it from the third party, and it will store it to the current directory and will return you the response. If there is any exception, it is going to throw it, right? So now I can go ahead and test this one, right? So let's start running this one, client service application. So let's see if it is running or not, and then add the other controller that is about uploading the multiple files into the system. So let's see the other file is running or not. Yeah, I also have to start this one. So this service is running now. Coming to the first one that we have here. So this is also running here. So close this one and go to the browser, right? And I have to give the name of the files that I want to retrieve. So I have to know previously in advance that what are the files that are available with the system. So if you remember the previous session, so this microservice is storing all the files under this file storage folder. So here as of now only one file is available, so I'm going to retrieve this one. So before hitting this endpoint, let me show you the project here. So now as of now there is no folder name as temp or something, but after execution it is going to create this one, right? So this, okay, it is throwing some error. Let's see what is that. Okay, not found, download. So there is problem in the path, right? So it is saying that this path is not found. We have come to this point, but here this path is incorrect because we forgot to put this line, this one, right? Close it and start it. So as I always say, the errors are good thing to look into the each line that you are doing, right? So it helps you understanding. So if you get error at any point, you are never going to forget that what that line is doing. So here data retrieved properly, so means we got the response, means all the things that are there executed properly. So here you see I have the folder now here, and temp joule.png, we got it, right? So now I can retrieve a particular file from the database. Now let's look at the next endpoint, that is uploading a list of files that are at particular location to the system, right? So let me create the post endpoint for that. Post mapping, is the @post mapping here, and here return files uploaded correctly. Now I have to proceed stepwise, right? Now first of all I have to identify which folder, what are the folders that I have to read the files and upload that into the system, right? So let me, so here is the pictures folder in my local system, and I have created this folder to upload, and here are the number of files that I want to upload to the system. So it is going to read this location and will read these files and load into the system, and will pass it to the third party service, right? So to read those files, we have utility method files dot list, right, and pass the directory here, path paths dot get, and I have to pass the URI here, right? So to get the URI, copy this location here, and it is going to throw an exception, throw here. So to upload, so what this method is going to do, it is going to read this folder, and how many as many as file are there, it is going to read those one and will load it into the system. So store it in the local variable, so it is going to give you the stream list of stream, right? And what to do this now, I have to call the rest template, right? Let's do that first, rest template, and I have to call the post for object, right? First I have to give the URL here, so base URL I have, and next I want to call which endpoint. First you have to know the exact endpoint, multiple file upload, where is that? This multiple upload, this is the thing that I want to call, right? And next I have to give the object that I want to upload into the system, right? So give the I have to create this one, and then we are done here. So I have to iterate through these file. So now I have to iterate through these. Now I have to iterate through these list, this list that is there, list dot for each. Now this, if you remember the multiple file upload option, how we were doing that, so let me show you that. Multi-value map that is there, so I want to name it files to new, multi files to upload, I want to name it, right? So now I have to add the files into this map, right? So how we can do that? Dot add. So the key, if you remember the previous videos, why this file's name I am giving here, right? So if you see this one, this is the request param that it is taking, right? So where is this multiple upload? This files it is taking, the same name I have to give here, right? And under this I have to pass the files that are that I want to pass, right? So new, I want to pass it as an, it will take URL resource, so that it can convert that into the multi-part file, right? So to do that, file dot to absolute path dot to URI, right? So this is what that I want to give it. Surround this with try catch, it is going to throw an exception, and inside this way, when you doing this, you have to handle the exception inside this block only, right? So this is the URL exception that giving, if this file is not found there, it is going to throw an exception. So we have, so by iterating through this list, we have populated this list, file list to upload, right, with these files, right? New URL resource it is doing, and to absolute path to a URI. So if you remember how we were doing the multiple file upload option from the browser, so we were giving that with the same name files by separating and, right? So same thing it is doing here. So if how we were doing that, right? So what was the URL for that? Localhost, right? And after that you have to pass the name of the files, right? So first name you were giving like this 1.jpg, and then you were giving this, and inside that you were passing files 2.jpg and whatever it was applicable, and go on. So what the system was doing, 1.jpg, 2.jpg, was putting that into a list or array. The same thing I am doing here, files to upload, I am giving these values, each value in the same key. Internally it is going to prepare the, it is going to append the values into this key, into this files, right? So it will ultimately prepare an array under this request param, and we are passing files to upload here, so it will be passed properly in post for object. So now I have to define the third parameter, the response type, how it will be responding. So string.class that I want here, right? So string response, right? So actually post for object and multiple upload, if you come and see here, file upload download, it is giving you the response of this kind, file upload response, where you are getting the name and URL as well, right? And here in the client service, I am converting that into string. So ideally internally it converts that into the JSON format, so we will get that. So to get that respond to the browser, so let's change this and keep it response here, right? So this is all that we are done here. When you will execute the task, it is going to pick the folder files that are here. It is going to put those files into this map and pass that into the post for object, this URL, and here is the object that we're passing here. And when this line is executed, you will see this will be executed and this file storage will be populated. We will get more files here, right? So coming here, right? So clean this one so that we can see exactly, right? So here client service, so stop this and start this again. So here I am just hard coding everything, but in real time you have to configure these things or get the input from somewhere else, right? So you can do that. So main purpose is how you can call the third party service which is taking file as input, and how we can respond the file and read that input, right? So we have in the first endpoint we got the response as a file from the third party and read that and stored that into a local location, right? And in the current endpoint, what we are doing, we are uploading the files at a particular location to a third party. So pushing the files as well as getting the files, both the use cases are main. How you want to configure it depends on you, right? So the service is running now. So note the name of the endpoint here. It is, we have given the post mapping, no, but it is not needed. Get mapping is sufficient, otherwise I have to use the postman. So because we are not passing from the browser itself here, right? So it is taking the things from the server locally, right? So post mapping is not needed here to test it. So this is the post for object, this is the files to upload, that is, it is reading locally, you are not passing something from the browser. So clean it and take this one, and here it is, duplicate this one. If I execute this one, if everything goes fine, yeah, I got the response here, right? So it executed properly. And if I show you this one, and here file storage, you can see all the files here, right? And it has given you the response that it was having, right? So if I want to retrieve this one here, I can check it, it is here, but it is with the 8081 directly from the third party service. And if I want to take it here, data retrieved properly, and actually it is storing it locally. So I can come here under temp and see S logo, and Joule was the earlier that it has created, and S logo, I got it, right? So this is what that I wanted to show you, right? Now your client is calling your file microservice programmatically, right? How you can pass the files programmatically using REST template. REST template is very important from the perspective of the communication among microservices, right? So if you want to watch the all the use cases with the REST template, I already have created a proper playlist for that. You can go ahead and check out that, right? So I hope you got understanding about how you can call this programmatically, right? And you got something. this is the end of the video here, right? And next use cases in the file upload download, you can check out the Angular. You can write the Angular application, integrate this microservice to that one, and you can write the React application and integrate this one. So I'm not very much expert in Angular and React, so in future if I get to know about it, proper understanding, I'll upload the video. But for now it is the end of this list series. If you have any confusion in understanding any of the concept from the previous video, from this video as well, put that in comment section. I'll be happy to help you out, right? So I'll see you in the next video with yet another topic. Till then, take care. Bye bye.